Welcome one, welcome all. It's time for the show with no name. And right now, you've got to fasten your seatbelts because it's time for
T-minus 10,
liftoff.
9,
Let's
8,
go, folks.
7, 6,
All aboard.
5, 4, 3,
Come on.
2, 1, 0. Ignition.
Come on, baby.
Liftoff.
Let's get this puppy off the ground.
After the hour.
Get ready. Hold on to your hats. Strap on your seatbelt. Fasten your seatbelts. Hold on to your hats. Get ready
For the ride of your life.
The show with no name time.
On Vaughn Radio.
It's a show with no name.
All right. Here we go.
Come on.
Yeah, all right. Welcome aboard, everybody. Welcome aboard. It's time for another exciting edition of the show with no name on Vaughn Radio, where English is exciting, interactive, informative, and a ton of fun. It's the show with no name, and I'm your host. I'm your captain, tu comandante, Alberto Alonso, at your service, your teacher, your friend, your confidant, your cheerleader. Call me what you will. I'm the man with no name. Welcome, folks. This is the show with no name on Vaughn Radio, where you can learn English all day, every day, for free. That's awesome. Our parents would have loved to have this. Imagine back in the 1940s or 50s, something like Vaughn Radio. But now it's hard to imagine the world without Vaughn Radio, 24/7. Radio in English. But it's not just radio in English. It's radio that's designed to inform you, to educate you, but always stopping along the way, parando por el camino, to point out different intricacies of the language. So welcome to the show with no name on Vaughn Radio. And don't forget, we've got a lot of new things on the horizon, including 2 brand spanking new shows. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Vaughn Radio proudly presents 2 brand spanking new shows. You can join Ruby every weekday on her program Speak Up from 3 to 4 p.m. Speak Up is for students who are just getting started and superstars who want to go over the basics. Let Ruby guide you through the English experience on her new program, Speak Up, on Vaughn Radio from 3 to 4 p.m. And Frankly Speaking, hosted by Chris. This program will be on every evening from 7:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. And in Frankly Speaking, Chris Frank will make you feel like you were at the restaurant or bar with him in a totally native conversation. Learn English as you have fun with Frankly Speaking. So make sure you check out our 2 latest programs. You're gonna love them. Frankly Speaking with Chris from 7:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. and Speak Up with Ruby from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. I have a feeling, I have a hunch you're going to love these new programs. Exclusively on Vaughn Radio. That's right. Don't miss them. Don't miss them, and give them a listen if you haven't. 2 brand new shows, Speak Up and Frankly Speaking, amigos. Well, let's just remind you of this week's question of the week.
Question of the week.
That's right, amigos. It's question of the week, and this is a section where we hear from you guys. A nice round of applause for Anix and Kubla. I know what you're thinking, but we haven't done anything yet. Well, yes, you have. You've already participated. So you can sit back and relax and know that on Friday we are going to hear from Kubla and Anix. They have already sent me their 1-minute voice messages telling me their biggest phobia or superstition. And I think it's very appropriate for Halloween week. So tell us your biggest phobia or your biggest superstition, something that you always have to do, or something that you'll never do because you believe it's bad luck. And we'll take a look at that on Friday. As always, we'll hear from each and every one of you. I'm really excited because, as you guys know, I love Halloween. And speaking of, as many of you know, I've got a Halloween trivia night coming up. It's Vaughn Radio Trivia. It's November 1st. I know many of you are going to be there. It's going to be tons of fun, and it's going to be based on horror stuff, sticking with that theme. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. It's November 1st. It's at Roll Madrid. It's free to get in. Of course, if you want to drink something or have a bite to eat, that's on you. But the fun, well, I'll take care of that part. How's that? Yo me encargo de la diversión. And, of course, you guys, because not only are you going to be hanging out with, you know, your fellow classmates, which I think is really exciting to see each other in person, but also you're going to be hanging out with my mates as well, my amigos over at Vaughn Radio. So don't miss it. It's November 1st. It's Vaughn Radio Trivia Night. And if you haven't participated, which is most of you so far, well, you still have time. Send me your 1-minute voice message. Make sure you send it to me before Friday. So don't send it to me Friday morning because I can't guarantee it'll get on the air. I'm doing a lot of things on Friday morning, and usually it's preparing Monday's stuff. So send me a 1-minute voice message. You can send it to my email address. It's aalonso@grupovaughn.com. And I think I can speak on behalf of all of us. We look forward to hearing from you. All right, folks, it's time for our pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Come on. Pop quiz. Come on. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Yeah. Let's go. Pop quiz. Sing it. Come on. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. That's right, amigos. Pop quiz. All right, folks. All right. We're going to shoot some hoops today. To shoot some hoops is to play some b-ball, some basketball. That's right, folks. I don't know if you are fans of basketball. I know in Spain in general, basketball is a popular sport. Well, why not? You've got some of the greatest players to ever play. And you guys know that. The Spanish national team is amazing. What an amazing basketball team. It's been and it still is. You know, I'm not talking about one generation here. I'm talking about a basketball culture. The good news, we've got you covered over at Vaughn. We've got Speak Basketball by the creator of Speak Football, which is my amigo Ruben Palomero. Now, he didn't write this book. He wrote Speak Football. But this book was written by Alberto de Miguel in collaboration with Ricky Rubio, speaking of amazing players. So it's a really useful audio source because remember, as with all our materials, it's not just a book, but it's got the audio so you can pronounce it correctly as well. And right now, we are going to listen to an audio clip for today's pop quiz. Now, if you have this book, I know some of you may have this book, Speak Basketball, Aprende Inglés con el Baloncesto. Again, it is with Ricky Rubio and Alberto de Miguel. Really nice guy, by the way. I met him at the book fair last year. Really cool dude. The book is available at vaughntienda.com or wherever fine books are sold. Now, if you have the book, this is audio clip 61. I don't think that part's important because I'm going to play it for you. I guess what's important is page 166. So if you have the book Speak Basketball, right now check out page 166, and we are going to learn right now. So listen, as always, listen very carefully, because afterwards, I'm going to ask you some things.
Pista 61. Capítulo 8. El cuerpo médico. Sección técnica. Lesiones.
Injuries.
Lesiones óseas.
Bone injuries. Fractura.
Fracture.
Tienes una fractura en el radio.
You have a radial fracture.
Fisura.
Fissure fracture, hairline fracture, stress fracture.
Podría ser peor, ya que el hueso no se ha roto completamente. Es una fisura.
It could be worse as the bone isn't fully broken. It's a fissure fracture.
Lesiones musculares.
Muscular injuries. Distensión muscular.
Strain.
Si quieres evitar el riesgo de sufrir una distensión muscular, calienta bien antes de jugar.
If you want to avoid the risk of straining a muscle, you need to warm up properly before playing.
Desgarro.
Muscle tear.
Tienes un desgarro muscular. Vas a estar fuera un tiempo.
You have a muscle tear. You're going to be out for a while.
Sobrecarga.
Muscle fatigue.
Ojalá tengamos un día libre pronto. Tengo ambas piernas sobrecargadas.
I hope we get a day off soon. I have muscle fatigue in both legs.
Micro rotura.
Micro tear.
No estamos seguros del alcance de la lesión, pero parece una micro rotura.
We're not sure about the extent of the injury, but it looks like a micro tear.
Calambre.
Cramp.
Me dieron calambres en el vestuario.
I got cramps in the locker room.
Lesiones tendinosas.
Tendon injuries. Rotura de tendón.
Ruptured tendon.
Las roturas de tendones son poco comunes pero muy graves.
Ruptured tendons are very uncommon, but they're very severe.
Tendinitis.
Tendinitis.
Ponte esto alrededor de la rodilla. Puede que ayude con tu tendinitis.
Put this around your knee. It might help with your tendinitis.
Lesiones ligamentosas.
Ligament injuries. Esguince.
Sprain.
Mi esguince de tobillo tardó mucho en curarse.
It took a long time for my sprained ankle to heal.
Rotura.
Rupture. Tear.
Tienes una rotura completa del ligamento.
You have a complete rupture of the ligament.
Otras afecciones médicas.
Other medical conditions. Corte.
Laceration. Cut.
Déjame ver. Tienes un corte en la frente.
Let me see. You have a cut on your forehead.
Pinzamiento.
Pinched nerve.
Tengo un pinzamiento que me mata cada vez que doblo la espalda.
I have a pinched nerve that kills me every time I bend my back.
Luxación.
Joint dislocation.
Creo que es una luxación en el codo.
I think you've dislocated your elbow.
Él nunca se recuperó completamente de su luxación en el hombro.
He never fully recovered after his shoulder dislocation.
Conmoción cerebral.
Concussion.
Sufrí una conmoción cerebral cuando estaba yendo por un balón suelto y alguien me dio en la cabeza.
I got a concussion when I was going for a loose ball and someone hit me in the head.
Hernia discal.
Slipped disc. Herniated disc.
Puedes jugar con una hernia discal, pero te tienes que cuidar mucho la espalda.
You can play with a slipped disc, but you have to take real care of your back.
Contusión.
Contusion.
No te preocupes, no es más que una contusión en el muslo.
Don't worry, it's just a thigh contusion.
Uña del pie negra.
Black toenail.
¿Esas zapatillas son nuevas? Eso podría explicar por qué tienes la uña del pie negra.
Are those shoes new? That might explain why you have a black toenail.
Hemorragia subconjuntival.
Subconjunctival hemorrhage.
Uno de nuestros jugadores recibió un golpe en el ojo y sufrió una hemorragia subconjuntival.
One of our players was hit in the eye and got a subconjunctival hemorrhage.
All right, there you go, folks. Wow, some good vocabulary. As you can see, that's vocabulary that could help you in any situation, not just for basketball players, I would say, right? I mean, who hasn't dislocated something? I don't think I have. Oops. I shouldn't speak aloud because I'm going to jinx it. Gafead, you say, to jinx. All right, well, here's what I want from you guys. Hopefully you won't have to use this vocabulary, but as I always say, it's good to know about the human body. There's an FYI episode on the human body. There's also an episode on hospitals, and I think it's got vocabulary that you should know. All right, so here's what I want from you guys. We're going to talk about 3 different injuries. Remember this. I got injured. Se emplea con el verbo get. He got injured. You could say he injured himself, but it's just a lot more common to use the get como el reflexivo, okay? So he got injured. He received several injuries. I've heard people mix it up, so that's why I'm telling you. To get injured is the verb, and injured is the adjective, and an injury is the noun. All right, so here we go, folks. 3 of them, and I want you to give them to me in context. The first one is desgarró. Desgarró un músculo, okay? O tuvo un desgarro muscular. That's the first one. I didn't know that one in Spanish, and it's pretty common in English, even, you know, for people who aren't athletes. All right, here's another one too. This is not the challenge, but los itis son itis. Apúntate esa. Itis is itis in English. So conjunctivitis, conjunctivitis. Bronchitis, bronchitis. Right? You see, it's itis. Bio o bi, que se ve mucho como prefijo. Bi or bio. The biosphere. So again, words you'll recognize, but they're pronounced a little bit different. They come from Latin, as with many medical terms. So the first one is desgarro. You got to use it in context, as always. The next one is calambre. This is the worst. When you're swimming in the pool, y tienes uno en el dedo del pie. Hey, it's a good example. Something that's happened to all of us, right? When you're like, oh, and you start to spaz out, tener espasmos. So calambre is our second one. And the last one is esguince. Esguince. So you got to use, I don't just want 3 words here. I want you to use the words in context so I know you know how to use them, right? All right. Again, this is all available in our book, Speak Basketball, which is available at the Vaughn Tienda, where you can get tons of materials for self-study, including my 5 books. As you guys know, I have 5 freaking books. It's insane. All right, let's go on over to our online classroom and see who's in the house. Salva says, hey, AA and classmates. What's up, Salva? David says, good morning, Alberto and mates. Good morning to you too, David. How's it going? Always great to have you guys on board. Kubla says, morning, good-natured people. Why don't bubbles like to go to school? Because they can't handle the pop quizzes. We never know. We know Kubla's going to come with some poetry or a joke. Those are his hats that he wears. Comedian and poet. Hey, you should mix the two. That's kind of a cool, I don't know. Are there any comedian poets right now? That's an original one. Elena, speaking of originals, she says, hello, a very good morning, folks. Hello, Elena. Great to have you on board. Daniela says, top of the morning to y'all. I love it. Oh, man. Top of the morning. It's a very native way of saying good morning. Usually, when Americans want to make fun of, burlarnos de los irlandeses, the Irish people, we say, top of the morning to you, laddie. Now, I understand that not everybody says top of the morning. They say morning, just like anybody else. Morning. But a lot of times Americans, when they do the stereotypical Irish person, you know, like Paddy O'Malley or Paddy O'Reilly, they'll be like, top of the morning to you, lad, or lassie. Lad is boy, lassie is girl. You wouldn't hear people use those in the States. Not seriously, maybe, as I just said, jokingly. All right. Elena's taken a stab at our pop quiz here. Elena, you have been on fire lately. Don't think it's escaped me. Not at all. Okay, let's see. Elena says he tore a muscle while playing soccer. That's right. Think about this. Cuando rompes papel o tela, it's to tear. Tear, tore, torn. So he tore a muscle. Great job. It's an irregular verb, Elena. And you nailed it. She said, the second one, I got a terrible bad cramp in the pool. Yeah. Nice job. 2 for 2, Elena. All right, let's see. She says, for the last one, me hice un esguince. I strained my ankle after tripping. Now, I've got to say, I'm going to give it to you. Because to strain something is to put extra stress on it. Like when we strain our eyes a lot, when we're looking at something, esfuerzo. But it's also esguince, distensión. But I would say, to be honest, I would say he sprained his ankle. En vez de con te, aunque la palabra es correcta, como te digo, pero como es frase hecha, he got a sprained ankle. He sprained his ankle. También es el sustantivo. Oh, don't worry. It's just a sprain. Solo es un esguince. A sprain. But it's related to the word strain. So excellent job, Elena. Really wonderful. Let's see. Marisol says, good morning. Good morning, Marisol. We need you more than ever, at least in Madrid. It hasn't stopped raining for 3 weeks. Hey, we need the rain too, but she says, today, a dull throbbing roused. A dull throbbing. Oh, like a throbbing sound. Boom, 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 boom. It was my neighbor moving furniture. Sin ese. Oh, man. It's crazy. There's always something. I always have to compete with the guy with the leaf blower. The guy here, he believes that you have to remove every single leaf as soon as it falls off the tree. No leaves are allowed to be on the ground ever. And he's out there every day with that diesel engine and that leaf blower blowing leaves all over the place. And you want to know the irony? When I go out there later and I go pick up my daughter, I see leaves. So what is he doing? Just blowing them into a corner? I don't know. All right. So sorry about that, Marisol. Just put on your headphones. There's a good trick. Your headphones. Can't tell you how many times my headphones have saved me. And just be careful. Furniture, nunca lo usamos con ese. Furniture sin ese. Vero says, morning, beautiful warrior show with no-namers around the universe. What's up, Vero? It's always a pleasure to have you with us. Folks, we've got to go to a quick commercial break right now. I can't believe it myself. We've got a lot of people participating in our pop quiz, so we'll hear from you guys Plus, we've got the Say What soundbite, spelling bee, homophones, double trouble. Name that lyric. Man, we've got a lot of stuff to cover on today's show. So if I were you guys, I wouldn't even think of going anywhere. Say it with me. 3, 2, 1. Stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to the show with no name on Vaughn Radio. So many show with no namers on board, ready to have a blast with us as always. And don't forget to listen to Ximena Holiday and her program Test Your English. It's right after this show. It couldn't be more convenient. And right before this show, you've got the best way to warm up ever. It's Fitz's program, No Excuses, and he will take you and guide you through the Vaughn method because nobody knows it better than Fitz. He has trained every single teacher that has walked through those doors. Well, in the last 15 years or more. He trained me. A mí me formó. So if you like the way I teach, you can listen to the guy that inspired me. Well, him, Richard, Dave Boyce, and you can listen to all of them here on Vaughn Radio for free. Just download the free app, or you can follow along wherever you listen to podcasts. Oh, and speaking of, Richard Vaughn is going to be on my podcast, FYI, this week. Follow on social media for more information. It's grupovaughn.com. That's the website. And also, you'll know that we've got a special going on Vaughn Groups. Do you know about Vaughn Groups? Well, I'm going to tell you all about them. They are group English classes that you can do via video conference or in person. And the good news is you can start whenever you want. And you can keep the same timetable, teacher, and classmates throughout the whole course. And the best part, there's no strings attached. Sin compromiso. And if you act now, you can get a 5% discount for paying up front. And if you stick with the course for 6 months, you'll get a 50% discount in June. Wow, what a deal! As if you needed more reasons to learn English with Vaughn. Check out our Vaughn Groups. Have fun and make friends as you learn English. Sign up now while there are still spots available. Call us 911-385831. Or you can go to our website, grupovaughn.com. And don't forget to follow us on social media and find out if Vaughn Groups are for you. That's right, folks. More information at grupovaughn.com and follow on social media, as I said. And now it's time for the Say What soundbite. Say what? What? That's right, folks. It's the Say What soundbite here on the show with no name. As always, you're going to hear this audio clip 4 times. You'll have 4 chances to jot down everything you hear. I think you guys can handle it today. It's pretty easy. You'll definitely know who it is, because, man, very well-known voice today. All right, is everybody ready? Grab a pen, grab a notebook, and jot this down, amigos. All right, here we go. This is the Say What soundbite for the first time.
Yes, I'm looking for a friend of mine. Last name Jazz, first name Hugh.
Hold on, I'll check. Hugh Jazz! No, somebody check the men's room for a Hugh Jazz!
Look, I'll level with you, mister. This is a crank call that sort of backfired, and I'd like to bail out right now.
All right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. A little bit fast, but I think it's pretty easy to understand. I think you all know who it is, right? The character, and that part's pretty easy, I think. At least if you've seen this cartoon in English. All right, let me give it to you a second time, and then we'll hear from you guys. Also, we need to take a look at some more pop quiz answers as well. So we've got a lot of stuff to do. Here it is, the Say What soundbite for the second time.
Yes, I'm looking for a friend of mine. Last name Jazz, first name Hugh.
Hold on, I'll check. Hugh Jazz! No, somebody check the men's room for a Hugh Jazz!
Look, I'll level with you, mister. This is a crank call that sort of backfired, and I'd like to bail out right now.
All right, there you go, my amigos. A little bit fast there at the end, but I think you guys will be able to figure it out. And I know you guys love challenges, so let's see what you had to say. Also, we'll look at the pop quiz over here. We've got Chris Valrol. What's up, Chris? And she says, morning, AA and mates. I used to play basketball, but I never had a muscular tear or a sprain. But now I get a cramp from time to time. That's why I take magnesium. Well, thanks for the tip. And thanks for using all 3 of them in one little story. It's great, Chris. And you personalized it. Excellent. So magnesium, huh? Also cramps, ladies. When you're premenstrual and your body hurts like that, we call those cramps as well. Those premenstrual cramps that are associated with PMS. PMS, premenstrual syndrome. PMA, positive mental attitude. Which one do you want? Well, you don't have a choice, I guess. Until menopause. All right. Excellent job, Chris. Wonderful. Daniela says, my daughter plays basketball, and the other day she tore a muscle. Well, first, I'm going to give you an applause because it's correct, but I hope that's not true. Number 2, she says, I was swimming when all of a sudden I had a terrible cramp in my leg. Yes. And she says, I sprained my ankle last year and it still hurts. Again, I hope it's not true, but great example. And remember, you can sprain your wrist. No solo hacemos esguinces en el tobillo, your wrist as well, especially in basketball. You can sprain your ankle and your wrist, right? Just be careful. If your uncle sprains his ankle, say it with me. My uncle sprained his ankle. Uncle, ankle, uncle, ankle. My uncle sprained his ankle. There's Leo. What's up, Theo? What's up, uncle? He says, morning, friends. I can tell from the video, AA. I like what you're wearing. It looks like a Bronx bomber jacket. Oh, no. It's a New Jersey. Jersey no es jersey. A jersey is uniforme. That's right. I'm wearing a Yankee sweatshirt. It's a sweatshirt, not a hoodie, a sweatshirt, a normal sweatshirt. And I got this from my friends at Vaughn. My Vaughn radio friends chipped in, contribuyeron cada uno algo, and they bought me this awesome sweatshirt. And you don't know how many people have told me, dude, that sweatshirt looks good on you. They knew the right size. They got it perfect. So, and obviously Yankees, well, I'm in. So I love it, Leo. He says, bad ones. It seems I'm not very inspired today. I thought it was hysterical, to be honest. All right, let's see what you guys heard in the Say What soundbite. Kubla. He says it sounded like an American cartoon character searching for an individual whose last name is Jazz. He also said he needed to hightail it. Te falta un it. Buena expresión. To hightail it out of there. Y eso es salir por patas, I think you say. Great job. Yeah, something about a surname or a last name named Jazz. And he needed to hightail it out of there. And hightail, again, is to jet. To bounce. Esa es muy americana. I gotta bounce. Me tengo que pirar. Boing. And you know what? Some people say, Alberto, why are you leaving? Why are you bouncing? And I said, well, that's the way the ball bounces. Hey, it's a good double trouble. ¿Por qué te piras? Porque así es la vida. Why are you bouncing, man? Because that's the way the ball bounces, right? Kubla's got a question, and it's related. Thank you. I don't mind questions when they're related to what we're doing. And this one is related to what we're doing. Kubla says, what's the difference between a sweatshirt and a sweater? Simple. Sweatshirt, cotton. A sweater is knit. Tejido? I don't know how you say that word. K-N-I-T. And don't ask me too much about fashion, though. So sweats are los que están hechos de algodón. Chanda, no chanda tampoco, because that's a tracksuit, right? The mafia's official, the mafia's official suit. It's not an Armani suit. It's a tracksuit. So yeah, sweater is something that is sewn more in a traditional way, something that you would wear at Christmas. You know, grandma made a sweater. That's a sweater. And a sweatshirt is, well, cotton, usually. Or a cotton blend. Again, a lo mejor me equivoco un poco, but that's a general idea there. All right, let's see. But good question. As long as the questions are on topic. I hate when people are like, Alberto, use the present perfect continuous form. I'm like, no. You can pay me if you want private classes. But if it's related to the group, obviously, I'll answer your question. But if not, I can spend the whole time answering questions as well. But a good question nonetheless. Let's see, Vero. It sounds like Bart Simpson. Well, you didn't have to give it away, Vero. Are you that person who says, I know the trick, guys. The magician doesn't really cut the lady in half. What he does is he's got these fake legs on one. Don't be that one. Don't give it away. You should have told us. Vero, you got to be a little more subtle with it, just in case people don't know who it is. So it sounds like a famous cartoon character who's a bit of a bad boy. That's a good way of telling me you know who it is. And he was playing a prank on someone, and with it too, and it backfired. Great word, to backfire. Salir por la culata, you say. I love that word in Spanish. ¿Qué pasó? Salió por la culata. Sí. Oh, ni le vi. Chris says, I heard a cartoon character who's looking for a friend. That's all. They speak a mile a minute. Chris is like, that's my best shot there. Elena says, a beloved American cartoon character looking for a John Doe friend of hers or his. So John Doe. A John Doe is an unidentified corpse. So he's looking for an unidentified body. So a John Doe. That just got morbid. Hey, Halloween's right around the corner. All we have to do is just throw a chainsaw in there, you know? Oh, no, I was just joking. Elena, put down the chainsaw. All right. Oh, no. Talk about tearing a ligament or a muscle. Yesterday, we looked at Leatherface and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Enough. I'm going to need those toes. Voy a necesitar esos dedos del pie. All right, anybody else want to participate in the Say What soundbite before we move on to our next section? Because if not, you know what time it is, folks. It's time for our Spelling Bee.
Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee.
That's right. That's right, amigos. It is our Spelling Bee only on the show with no name, and this is probably one of the most challenging sections here on the show, but I know you guys will be able to handle it. So, as always, round one is going to be cutthroat. Cutthroat, despiadado, competición feroz, fierce competition, as we say. So, are you guys ready for round one? I want all of these words capitalized, the first letter capitalized, and let's see how you guys do. The first one is CUBAN space MISSILE space CRISIS. The second one is 13-DAY space CONFRONTATION. The third one is NIKITA space KHRUSHCHEV. The fourth one is JOHN space F period space KENNEDY. The fifth one is FIDEL space CASTRO. And the sixth one is JUPITER space NUCLEAR space MISSILES. And while you guys are thinking that through, let me have my daughter tell you all about our trivia night. Hey, Lara, do you have any plans for November 1st?
Hey, Daddy. Yeah. The Spelling Radio. Trivia night, baby.
Where is it taking place?
It's at Real Madrid.
What time does it start?
It's at 8:30. Get there at 8.
And who's hosting this time?
Seriously? Come on, Daddy. It's your turn.
Thank God my daughter isn't as forgetful as I am. I'm going to jot it down this time. And so should you. We'll see you for another Vaughn Radio Trivia Night at Roll Madrid, hosted by yours truly, un servidor. I'll see you November 1st at 8:30 p.m. at Roll Madrid for another exciting Vaughn Radio Trivia Night.
Be there or be square, amigos.
That's right, folks. I'll see you on November 1st. It's going to be tons of fun. All right, going once, going twice. Hang on. It looks like we might have a winner over here. Let's see. Kubla is going to take a stab at it. And Kubla, the first one is correct. The second one is also correct. The third one is correct. The fourth one is correct. The fifth one is correct. And the sixth one Also correct. Nice job, Kubla. Wow, these were not easy, and you got them on the first go, and they are perfect. So you know what that means, Kubla? You can just sit back and relax in round 2. Yeah, go grab a cup of joe, a cup of coffee, or a cup of tea, and just chill, buddy. You deserve it. Wow. That was awesome. All right. Well, here we go again. I'm going to give you all 6 terms, and we'll see if the rest of you can get it. Now, this is a very fair, muy justo, very fair speed that I'll be going at. So I expect anybody who calls themselves an intermediate English speaker to be able to get this on the second round. Also, nice round of applause for Chris Valrol. Amazing, guys. Amazing. All right. And here we go again. The first one is CUBAN space MISSILE space CRISIS. The second one is 13 dash DAY space CONFRONTATION. The third one, NIKITA space KHRUSHCHEV. The fourth one, JOHN space F period space KENNEDY. The fifth one is FIDEL space CASTRO. And the last one, JUPITER space NUCLEAR space MISSILES. All right. There you go, folks. If you haven't figured it out, these are all words that have to do with the Cuban Missile Crisis. What did you call that in Spanish? La crisis de los misiles? I don't know what it was called. Oh, let's see. 82 languages. In Spanish, it's called Español. Crisis de los misiles de Cuba. Oh, it's the same. The Cuban Missile Crisis. Fijaos cómo pronunciamos Cuba. We don't say Cuba or Cubano. We say Cuba and Cuban. So la U es un poco diferente ahí. So yes, today in 1962, a guy named Adlai Stevenson in the U.S. government showed the UN Security Council reconnaissance photographs, del reconocimiento, right, of Soviet ballistic missiles in Cuba, just miles away from the United States. As you guys know, Florida and Cuba are not too far from each other, are they? So as you guys know, this sparked a 13-day confrontation. If you don't know the story, it's fascinating. And there's a great movie, too. It's appropriately named 13 Days. I believe it stars Kevin Costner, too, if I'm not mistaken. But I remember watching the movie and being like, wow, that was interesting. Because there's, you make the wrong move and you start a nuclear war. And then you've got something that they call MAD, mutually assured destruction. That means bye-bye to everybody. Goodbye, curtains. So thank God, peace prevailed. And JFK, the president at that time, was not a warmonger. A warmonger es un amante de la guerra. like many of the people who are running things now. Oh, no. Okay, well, Ukraine, you guys aren't interested in Ukraine anymore. Let's go to Israel. Let's go to Gaza. Let's go. Come on, guys. Stop the war. Recently, I released an FYI episode on weapons, where I talk about weapons, but you can guarantee I don't glorify them. So that's right, the Cuban Missile Crisis. And today in 1962, those images were shown to the UN Security Council. And folks, we've got to go to a quick commercial break right now. Yep, time flies when you're having fun. The good news, we'll be right back with tons more Show with No Name. We've still got to look at homophones, Name That Movie, Double Trouble, jokes. We've got to listen to the Say What soundbite another 2 times as well. We've got so much to cover. So, if I were you guys, I wouldn't even think of going anywhere. Say it with me. Stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to the Show with No Name, Part 3, or the second half. Whatever you want to call it, just make sure you tune in every day and get your daily dose of English. Here on Vaughn Radio, it's the Show with No Name. So many students doing a wonderful job today and every day. Keep up the great work, Show with No Namers. You never cease to amaze me. Nunca dejáis de sorprenderme. You never cease to amaze me with your wit. Your wit. Cuando eres ingenuo. Hey guys, believe me, it's hard enough to be funny in your own language. So just imagine like Leo and Kubla, who told us some jokes in another language. And remember, it's not enough to just write those jokes. You got to tell them. Because a written joke isn't as funny as somebody telling you the joke and then you hearing the punchline. The punchline is the funny part, or at least the part that's supposed to be funny. All right, amigos. Well, in this part of the show, we're going to learn from movies. I also owe you another listen or two of today's Say What soundbite. We've got Double Trouble coming up as well, which let me take a look at it. Easy one. Easy Double Trouble today. The reason I say is people have been having trouble with that section lately. Maybe I've made it more difficult. Maybe I've upped the ante. Subir el listón. Well, either way, folks, it's not time for Double Trouble yet. It's time for Homophones on the Show with No Name.
Homophones on the Show with No Name. It's homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the Show with No Name. The Show with No Name. Homophones on the Show with No Name. Cause homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the Show with No Name. The Show with No Name. The Show with No Name. Show with No Name.
That's right, my amigos. You know it. This is Homophones, where we look at words that tend to confuse people and we demystify these words. All right, let's look at the two words. I want to know A, what the words are, and then B, if they sound exactly the same or not. Now, the first word, I should say, is a part of a building. You would call it arco o bóveda. Arco o bóveda. I remember learning that one at a cathedral. As many of you know, I was in Burgos last weekend. Love that cathedral. Oh, my goodness. Oh, and I didn't tell you the story. I'm sure if you know anything about the Burgos Cathedral, there's a Papa Moscas, okay? And it's this famous character, this figurine that, the bells ring and he opens his mouth. It's really, really funny. And the next day, my daughter said, Papi, I want to see Dad Flies. I'm like, Dad Flies? Papa Moscas? I'm like, if you don't know the story of Papa Moscas, Google Papa Moscas and then put Catedral Burgos. And it's a funny thing that you'll find. So the first one is arco, bóveda. It's also el arco o el puente del pie. Es el empeine de un zapato. Okay? And también es el verbo arquearse, abovedar, right? And I think that's it. Y también se usa como su rival más grande. So, archienemigo, I think you say. How would we say es su? Okay. And that's it. That's the first word. Okay. And the second one is for all you Indiana Jones fans out there. Well, Indiana Jones or Bible fans. Maybe you're a fan of Noah. We talked about Noah the other day, Noé. Well, that is arca. The word is arca. Arca de Noé, arca, el bote ¿no? El barco que hizo for the flood. So, and remember, it's what they're looking for in, what are they called? It's what they're looking for in Indiana Jones in the first one, right? They're looking for the. So if you know the name of the movie, Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost, ahí lo tienes. Okay, let's see what we've got here. Let's see if A, you're familiar with the words, and B, if you know if they sound the same. Also, let me give you the Say What soundbite now for the third time. Write down what you hear.
Yes, I'm looking for a friend of mine. Last name Jazz, first name Hugh.
Hold on, I'll check. Huge ass! No, somebody check the men's room for a huge ass!
Look, I'll level with you, mister. This is a crank call that sort of backfired, and I'd like to bail out right now.
All right, there you go, folks. Extremely famous cartoon character. And we'll hear that one more time. So hopefully you guys will be able to figure that one out. Okay, let's see. Elena is the first one to participate. And she says the words are and and they're hand-down homophones. Hands down, mejor dicho. They're hands down, sin lugar a duda, homophones. Wow, Elena, you sound pretty sure of yourself. Hey, I like it. But she says they are hands down, que nadie va a discutirlo, homophones. All right, well, let's see if they are hands down homophones or not. Kubla says it's and they don't. Oh, hang on. Was Kubla raised his hand there and he said, I don't agree with you. Well, that's not what he said. Again, nobody's agreeing or disagreeing with anybody in this section. I just do it to make it more fun, right? So let's see. Elena says, oops, I'm not sure now. So you trust Kubla. Daniela says, and ate the words. Se lo comieron. Oh, my God. They ate the words, and I see eye to eye with Kubla. They're not homophones. Oh, so even Elena is second guessing. Okay, well, please don't eat the homophones, though. Don't eat them. No te las comas. Ni sílabas, ni nada de eso. All right, the first word is arch. Arch. He's my arch enemy. Okay? I stepped on something and now the arch of my foot hurts. Arch. Arch. A-R. The CH is pronounced like CH. Right? Oh, look at those beautiful arches. Si es plural, añadimos una sílaba. That church has beautiful arches, arcos o bóvedas. The arch of your foot. I sometimes have pain there. The arch of the shoe obviously makes sense, right? Lo mismo que en español decís, we say the sole of your shoe and the sole of your foot. O sea, la planta del pie y la suela del zapato is the same word. But think about it. Makes sense, right? Well, the same thing with this one. The arch of your foot and also the arch of the shoe. It makes sense. What else? To arch over. The trees arched over the boulevard. Speaking of Burgos, the famous trees that arch over the boulevard. All right, arch. The second word is arc. Arc. They do not sound the same. Nice job, Kubla, Daniela, and Chris Valrol. Wonderful job. Yes, the first word is arch, and the second word is arc. If you had seen Raiders of the Lost Ark, one of my favorite movies, then you would definitely know that one. And speaking of movies, I think you know what time it is now. Name that movie. That's right, amigos. That's right. It's Name That Movie, only on the Show with No Name. And folks, today's movie has got something to do with cars. Well, not exactly, but kind of. It's got to do with cars and teenagers and things like that. And since yesterday, in 1975, the DeLorean, the famous car in Back to the Future, was released. Well, I decided to release the bonus episode of FYI on cars. And I've just shared the link to the regular, the first episode, and the bonus one. Aside from getting us from point A to point B and beyond, automobiles are built into the very fabric of our society. They are a necessary evil. Therefore, we have a love-hate relationship with these vital vehicles. Rev your engines as we have a look under the hood and discover the captivating cult of cars on this week's episode of FYI. Welcome to For Your Info.
Inglés. You got it.
You got it, folks. It's FYI. You got a brand spanking new episode every Friday. If you're in my community, you've got 2 plus additional content. And this week, as I said, we've got a really special guest, and it's Richard Vaughn, and we're going to be talking about American history. Don't worry, we're not going to get too deep, but just enough where it's really fascinating. I know I learned a lot myself. I learn a lot in every episode. Right now, I'm working on a future episode. Kellogg's, you know the company Kellogg's? If you don't know the story of Kellogg's, it's insane. I mean, it's as interesting as like the Roman Empire. It's pretty crazy. There's torture in there, tortura, brothers who have a falling out, hermanos que no se hablan. I mean, it's insane. The story. You think of Kellogg's like, oh, a nice breakfast. It's insane. And it'll be coming out in season 6. Right now, Friday, we will wrap es acabar season 5 of FYI, which is incredible. That means 300 episodes that I've made of FYI so far. And I'm still going. I'm working on season 6 already. So if you want to learn English and learn about a different topic every week, FYI is your podcast. You can download it wherever you get your Vaughn podcasts. All right. And if you have any suggestions, don't tell me here because they'll get lost in the comments. But you can always write me a message to my email address or on social media and say, hey, Alberto, what do you think about doing this topic? Anything you think that would have some good vocabulary and is interesting. And yes, I like controversial topics. In fact, if you listen to FYI, you'll notice I always bring out the dark side of everything too, because hospitals are great places where they cure people, but there's always a dark side, always the dark side. All right, that's another movie. We've quoted a lot of movies today, right? We're talking about Back to the Future, Indiana Jones, but none of them, or neither of them in the case of those two, compares to this one. All right, I'm lying. But this is at least me, this is in my top 10. I won't say top 5, top 10. And the soundtrack is in my top 3 movie soundtracks. So this is pretty serious here. The soundtrack is in my top 3, la banda sonora. The movie is in my top 10. I'm putting it alongside Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and Back to the Future, because I love this movie. Now, I don't think it was a big hit here in Spain, but if you love Matthew McConaughey, this is where the world discovered him for the first time. In fact, he had a very small part, a bit part, as we call it, in this movie, and he stole the show. Se llevó todo la atención. He's incredible in the movie. He plays this guy who doesn't want to leave high school. Like, he graduated, he got left back 10 times. So you know that there's always the high schoolers and then the 23-year-old guy who hangs out with them, 25, whatever, the weird guy. Well, he plays him, and he plays him to a T. Supposedly, he's imitating his brother. And there are so many catchphrases that Matthew McConaughey had. Well, his character, Wooderson, is his character in this movie. And his catchphrase that he uses in every movie now is, all right, all right, all right. He's got that Texas accent. All right, all right, all right. And then he's got another line in this movie. He says, again, he plays a gross character. He says, that's what I love about them high school girls. They get older, I stay the same age. No, I get older, they stay the same age. Ahí está, digo, algo no cuadra. I get older, they stay the same age. He says to another kid, the young kid in the movie, he goes, say, man, you got a joint on you? Oye, amigo, tienes un porro? And he goes, no, man, not on me. He's like, be a lot cooler if you did. Sería mucho más chulo si tuvieras. I mean, it's just one line after another. Another one, LIVIN, man. It's all about living. OTSS, only the strong survive. You can literally just have a field day. Pasarlo en bomba, just watching Matthew McConaughey in this movie. And then there are many other great actors. Ben Affleck is in the movie as well. So the trailer, the adventures of high school and junior high students on the last day of school in May 1976. Are you serious? In Texas, they finished school in May? Dude, we didn't finish until June, mid-June, late June. I should have gone to high school in Texas. So now, remember I was telling you about the soundtrack? Well, reportedly, 1/6 of the budget, el precio, was spent on acquiring the rights to the songs. And it was worth it. I mean, the songs make the movie. Same director as Boyhood, Richard Linklater. And we've got a winner, ladies and gentlemen. Please give it up for Chris Van Roll. In English, it's called Dazed and Confused. It's also a Led Zeppelin song. I've been dazed and confused for so long, it's not true. When did a woman ever bargain for you? So dazed, aturdido, and confused. I'm dazed and confused. Great title for a movie as well. And yeah, interesting thing about the movie, though. In 2004, Bobby Wooderson, the real Wooderson, not Matthew McConaughey, the real guy who the character was based on, Bobby Wooderson, Andy Slater was another character, and Richard Floyd, they called him Pink Floyd. They were former high school classmates of Richard Linklater, the director, the writer. And they sued Richard Linklater and Universal Studios, saying they did not get permission to use their likeness or surnames, su parecido o sus apellidos. The three men still live in Texas, supposedly, where it takes place. And, well, the good news, the lawsuit was dismissed, right? When a judge deems a case a waste of time or resources, they dismiss it. Okay. They throw it out of court. They dismiss it. So it was dismissed because the statute of limitations had expired. But look at that. You know, you're his friends. You're really his friends. Wow. Good friends trying to sue somebody who made some money telling your story. So I'm glad they didn't get their day in court, como decimos, su día en juicio donde ganan. You know, I'm glad they didn't get their day in court and it was thrown out of court. All right, let's take a look at the scene over here, as I said, that I've chosen. Mike says, look, I've got a confession to make. Okay. I've got to confess. Oh, Chris says, Movida del 76. No me jodas, tío. Really? Really? Come on. Movement of 1976. Come on. You ruined it. Of course nobody saw it. You tell me it's about teenagers, you know, in high school, last day of school, you know, smoking, drinking, having fun, hooking up, then I'll watch it because we were all there. It's one of those movies. Richard Linklater always plays with nostalgia in his movies. Think of Boyhood, right? So tenéis que verlo en inglés, evidentemente. And a lot of the scenes remind me of high school and just the way people acted, some of the sentences. And it took place in the 70s. I went to high school in the 90s. So, but it wasn't too different. I really, you know, it brought back a lot of nostalgia for me. And at one point in my life, I think in college, en universidad, I knew every single line in this movie. So let's take a look at the lines I've chosen here. Look, I've got a confession to make. Otra forma de decir esto muy nativo es, I got to come clean. To come clean es confesar también. And Tony says, what do you mean a confession? Como que ¿qué me estás contando, tío? And Mike says, you know, for like the last year or so, I've been talking about going to law school. No, estudiar a ser un abogado. So I can become an ACLU lawyer to be in a position to help people getting over. And he starts to get upset. And ACLU, what is the ACLU? ¿Cómo se pregunta? ¿Qué significa? ACLU. What does ACLU stand for? The ACLU stands for the American Civil Liberties Union. So he says, so I can become an ACLU lawyer to be in a position to help people getting fucked over and all that. Well, I'm standing in line at the post office yesterday. Ahí estoy ayer en correos, en cola. And I'm looking around. Y estoy mirando por todos lados. And everybody's looking really pathetic. You know what I mean? Todos tienen pinta de patéticos. ¿Me entiendes? Like, people have just got drool sticking there. Drool is baba. Drool. Babear también es el verbo. And like, this guy's bending over, and you can see the crack of his, o sea, la raja del culo, the crack of his, and it was all just like wife beaters. Era todo como abusadores de mujeres, right? That kind of people. He goes, it was, anyway, I realized that I just don't want to do it. So he's having an epiphany that he doesn't want to be a lawyer anymore. He doesn't want to study law. He goes, anyway, I realized that I just don't want to do it. Now they're drunk in this scene. He goes, you know what? I mean, it sounds good and all, y todo eso, but I just have to confront the fact that I don't really like the people I've been talking about helping out. Que no me caen bien los que quiero ayudar. You know what I'm saying? Me pillas, me captas. I don't like people, period. No me gusta la gente, y punto. In British English, they say full stop, right? We say period. He says, I don't like people, period. Y fíjate, no dice the people porque está hablando en general. I don't like people, period. I mean, you guys are okay. Imagínate los amigos. Bueno, vosotros ni tan mal. You guys are okay. I don't know. I'm just trying to be honest about being a misanthrope. And fijaos, la pronunciación no es honest o honest. It's honest. Honest. Es una A pura y dura. Y la H es muda. Honest. You want me to be honest? And a misanthrope, bueno, misántropo, igual, ¿no? Misanthrope, con TH en inglés. Y con E final. So I'm just trying to be honest about being a misanthrope. And Tony says, so you're not going to law school? ¿No vas a estudiar a ser abogado? He says, well, what do you want to do? Entonces, ¿qué quieres hacer? Because remember, some of them are finishing. Some of them are graduating high school. So it's that time in your life where you're thinking, what do I want to do for the rest of my life? And I don't know about you guys, but that's a big moment, you know? And you have to, okay, you have to know by next year before, and you're like, well, wait, I don't even know. I haven't even done enough things to know what I love and what I don't love. So I always felt that pressure myself. I know what that pressure was. You got to do this, but your grandparents want you to do this, but you want to do that. And in the end, you're just like, you know what? I'm not going to do any of it. I'm not going to study law. I'm not going to do any of it. And I think he's having one of those moments where he's overwhelmed. And he says, so what do you want to do? And he answers, and it's great how he answers it because he does it like with a little pose. And he goes, I want to dance. Lo que quiero hacer es bailar. So there you go, folks. It's an awesome movie. Honestly, it's got a lot of little dialogues in it that are very memorable. And if you want to see honestly, Matthew McConaughey is an amazing actor. There's no doubt about it. But this is by far my favorite role of his. Wooderson in today's Name That Movie, Dazed and Confused. Oh, sorry, wait. La movida del 76. What about colocados? I don't know. Con el pedo, I don't know. Libres. Movida del 76. I don't know. Sounds like a protest to me. Or like some kind of like missile crisis. All right, guys, we'll be right back with the rest of today's show. So stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. I can't believe it. We're in the fourth and final part of today's show. I hope you guys are having fun. I hope you're learning. I hope you're laughing. And I hope you'll stay tuned after today's show to hear my friend, my great friend, Ximena Holiday, and her program, Test Your English. That's right, folks. Then you've got the lunchtime show with Rob and Andy, followed by Speak Up with Ruby. Let's Get Random with Jules Linares. The Salad with Dave Boyes. Kyle Miller's Drive Time. Frankly Speaking with Chris Frank. And the Pro Bow Show with Rob Grams. And you got Richard Vaughn live. And the perfect warm-up for this program, Fitz's tour de force. No excuses. It's not a radio show, it's a philosophy. And Fitz is your philosopher from 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. every morning. But don't worry if you can't tune in. You can tune in wherever you listen to podcasts. Search for Vaughn Radio or search by program. Yeah. And now it's time for Double. Sing it, Double Trouble.
Double trouble, baby. Yeah, you know what time it is. Give it up. Double. Double trouble. I said double. Double trouble. Double. Double trouble. I said double. Double trouble.
That's right, amigos. It's Double Trouble only on the show with no name. And as always, this is where we look at a translation with a twist. It's not your typical translation, but I have a feeling, I have a hunch that somebody here is gonna be able to get these, at least one of you. I'm willing to bet 2 or 3 of you. Let's go with this here. I'm willing to bet that at least 2 or 3 of you are going to be able to figure these out without a problem whatsoever. Cualquiera. So here we go. Intenté fomentar, esa palabra lo sabía, but también vi suscitar, que no lo sabía. O sea, yo estoy aprendiendo también, amigos. Intenté fomentar / suscitar interés para el club de canto, pero él va a su bola. Okay, so intenté fomentar o suscitar interés para el club de canto. En el cole, vamos a decir, en high school, for example. Pero él va a su bola. That is your double trouble. You have to use the same word twice. Also, I didn't give it to him before, but I think he nailed it all. Give it up for Kubla in today's Say What soundbite. Nice job, Kubla. And what else do we have to do? Oh, well, here's the 4th listen of the Say What soundbite.
Yes, I'm looking for a friend of mine. Last name Jazz, first name Hugh.
Hold on, I'll check. Huge ass! No, somebody check the men's room for a huge ass!
Look, I'll level with you, mister. This is a crank call that sort of backfired, and I'd like to bail out right now.
All right, there you go, my amigos. There you go. That is the 4th and final listen. Kubla got it already. Wonderful job, buddy. And we'll see if anybody else was able to figure it out. All right. Going once. I'll give you some extra time. I think it's a tough one today. Okay? I think it's pretty tough. So how do we say that? Ir a su bola. Si alguien va a su bola. Okay, which means, obviously, somebody does whatever they want. Perfect example, my daughter. Perfect example there. My daughter va a su bola. And we don't say she goes to her ball. No. I like it, but that's not what we say. She goes to her ball. No. Anybody? I'll give you another 30 seconds, and then I will let you guys know. Going once. So how do we say this? Ir a su bola. Él va a su bola. I think maybe that's the hardest part. Do you know how to say fomentar? Well, fomentar is to raise awareness, to encourage, alentar, but that's not the one we're looking for either. So, going once, I'm going to give it to you then. Hang on here 1 second, my amigos. It looks like we might have a winner over here. Well, at least we have somebody who's taking a stab at it. And you know what? You get an applause just for taking a stab at it. Just for taking a stab at it, you will get that round of applause. All right, let's see how you did now. Chris Valrol, she says, I tried to drum up interest for the singing club. Well, it's correct. Okay, to drum up interest. Great. To drum up interest for the singing club. Another way to say it is the Glee Club, right? The Glee Club. And you guys know the series Glee? Pues Glee es felicidad, pero la palabra Glee Club es el club de canto de un cole, right? You know how they have these extracurricular activities there. So, Chris, and she says, I haven't got the second part. Well, that's great. If you don't know it, then you're going to learn this idiomatic expression. Anybody else? Anybody else want to take a stab at it and see if they figured it out? All right. Well, Chris, you were the only one to make an effort, so we're going to give it to you. Because here on the show, effort counts. El esfuerzo cuenta. I tried to drum up interest for the Glee Club, or the singing club is fine, but he marches to the beat of his own drum. There you go, folks. So I tried to drum up interest for the singing club or the Glee Club, but he marches to the beat of his own drum. Y si te fijas, tiene mucho sentido aquí. To march to the beat of your own drum. O sea, él está desfilando al ritmo de su propio tambor. He's marching to the beat of his own drum. All right, amigos. Excellent job, Chris. I'm telling you, my daughter, there's a perfect example. I always tell you guys to personalize everything. Well, my daughter always marches to the beat of her own drum. And I like that. I want her to be like that. I don't want her to follow and do whatever she thinks other people want her to do. I want her to do what makes her feel good. I want her to march to the beat of her own drum. So there you go, my amigos. Really tough one there to drum up interest, to drum up, you can use it to drum up anything, really. We're going to drum up a few different things, and we're going to make some Halloween costumes, right? Fomentar, suscitar. So to try and drum up interest, and it kind of makes sense. Like you're creating anticipation. I don't know. Hey, if it makes sense in your head, then it works. So I tried to drum up interest for the singing club or the Glee Club, but he marches to the beat of his own drum. And folks, we've got to move on to You're Joking.
Thank you. Okay, what did the guy say when he walked into the bar? Ouch. Ouch. You get it? Ouch. He walked into the bar.
You're joking. That's right, amigos. That's right. You're joking only on the show with no name. And here's where I tell you some jokes, and we see if you guys get these jokes or not. As always, good luck. And you don't really have to do too much. If you get it, you can explain it. If not, just sit back, relax, and enjoy our joke. All right, here we go, my amigos. Why did the ghost go into the bar? Why did the ghost go into the bar? Easy. He went in for the booze. No. He went in for the booze. Anybody get it? The booze? Well, let's talk about this here then. So, booze, los abucheos. También boo is to scare somebody. Boo! Right? So, for the booze. Yeah, but how is that funny? Well, also the word booze, B-O-O-Z-E, is alcohol. So you get it? B-O-O-S, los abucheos, los sustos, the booze. Pero B-O-O-Z-E is booze as far as alcohol. De hecho, se ve cuando vas a una fiesta en Estados Unidos, they put BYOB, which means bring your own booze. Trae tu propio alcohol. Que no, aquí cada uno que traiga lo que bebe. BYOB, bring your own booze. So you get it now? Why did the ghost go into the bar? For the booze? All right. Why do ghosts make the best cheerleaders? Why do ghosts make the best cheerleaders? Porque hacen los mejores cheerleaders. Okay? Easy. They have a lot of spirit. No. They have a lot of spirit. That's like, no? School spirit? No. School spirit? Well, school spirit means you support your school. You feel your colors, as you guys say. Sientes los colores. And that was a big thing when we were in high school. They were always saying, do you have any school spirit? What happened to your school spirit? Eso es, ¿no? Creer en tu colegio, en tus colores. What happened to school spirit? But also spirits are ghosts, right? Espíritus. Spirits that come from beyond, right? So why do ghosts make the best cheerleaders? They have a lot of spirit. Oh, and also spirits are another way of saying hard alcohol, right? For example, I don't drink spirits. You know why? I see spirits. De hecho, por eso lo llaman así. I usually stick to beer or wine, and usually when I'm eating, right? So, spirits. All right, here's another one for you. What did the mummy say at the end of the meeting? What did the mummy say at the end of the meeting? That's a wrap. No. What did the mummy say at the end of the meeting? That's a wrap. Well, mummies are wrapped, right? They're wrapped in bandages, vendas, right? But also, that's a wrap means we're done here. That's a wrap. Eso es todo. Nos vamos. Se usa como verbo también. I always say it at the end of FYI. I say, we're going to wrap, or before we wrap, which is también envolver. So do you get it now? What did the mummy say at the end of the meeting? That's a wrap. Well, I'm sure he had to unwind. To unwind, desestresarse, pero también es to unwind is to take off the wraps. Okay, one more. I promise. Why don't mummies have a lot of friends? Okay, why don't mummies have a lot of friends? Because they're way too wrapped up in themselves. No? Why don't mummies have a lot of friends? Because they're too wrapped up in themselves? No. Well, we just looked at to wrap, es envolver, right? Envuelto. But to be wrapped up in yourself is to think you are awesome. To be self-interested, to be conceited, egotistical. Man, Pablo's a nice guy, but he's just too wrapped up in himself. And folks, I hope you like those jokes because this is a wrap. Why? Because it's time for famous birthday trivia.
Famous birthdays for you. Famous birthdays for me. Famous for him. Famous birthdays for her. Birthdays for everyone on the show with no name.
That's right, amigos. That's right. It's famous birthdays only on the show with no name. And let's see if you know who's celebrating a birthday today, amigos. The first person drummed up a lot of interest for the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And I'm not sure if he marches to the beat of his own drum, but he's the drummer of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Oh, and he looks a lot like Will Ferrell, the actor Will Ferrell. In fact, that's an ongoing internet joke that the two of them have. So, anybody know his name? The not the lead singer, the drummer of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And he's worked with so many other artists. He's recorded with Johnny Cash. He's recorded with Lana Del Rey, Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam, and so many more other artists. Okay, so that is number one. Oh, and his first name, let's see, is Papel Picado. They talk about these a lot when we're going to the polls to vote. Okay, Papel Picado es su nombre. Okay, esto de hace. Okay, ya has votado. Papel picado. Good word to know. Number two, this guy was born in 1970, an American actor, director, producer, and screenwriter, and known for supporting roles. He's never really been a lead, I don't think, but he's been in so many movies, such as Dazed and Confused, one of my favorites, Saving Private Ryan, A Beautiful Mind, Zodiac, and many others. But the guy has been in the business as a producer, a director, a writer for ages, durante siglos. All right? So that is number two. And number three, this person was born in 1957 today. She is an American voice actress. She has done the voice of Bart Simpson since the beginning of that show, and part of the reason that character has been so successful, I think, because she's just a very, very talented voice actor. But she does other voices too. She does Nelson Muntz, Ralph Wiggum, Todd Flanders, Database, and Maggie. We all know Maggie's sound over there. So yes, my amigos. Oh, and by the way, if you haven't heard it, there's an FYI episode on The Simpsons. And ladies and gentlemen, we've got a winner. Give it up for Chris Valrol. Great job, Chris. Wonderful job over there, Chris. You nailed it. Number one, Chad Smith. And he is the drummer of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Chad es el papel picado. Every time there's an election, oh, the Chads. Ahí lo tienes. Number two, Adam Goldberg. And number three, Nancy Cartwright, who does the voice of Bart Simpson and so many others. All right, my amigos. Wonderful job, Chris. And we've got to take a look over here at Nancy Cartwright. Well, Bart Simpson, Nancy Cartwright doing Bart Simpson. And in the FYI episode on Bart Simpson, I always tell you that he's doing crank calls. Okay? Crank calls are these calls when you're calling somebody and you are, pretending to be someone else, or you're trying to get their attention or something like that. And he always calls Moe's Tavern all the time. And he calls in and he crank calls or prank calls. Se puede decir de las dos maneras. He prank calls or he crank calls Moe's Tavern. And he says, yes, I'm looking for a friend of mine. Last name, Jas. Not so much jazz, sino Jas. Last name, Jas. First name, Hugh, like Hugh Grant, right? So a friend of mine, last name, Jas, first name, Hugh. And then he says, Mo answers, and he says, hold on, let me check. Déjame ver, déjame revisar. He goes, Hugh Jas, culo enorme. Somebody check the men's room for a Hugh Jas. Alguien mira en el baño de los hombres a ver si hay un culo enorme, Hugh Jas. And then he realizes that the prank went too far, and he says, look, I'll level with you, mister. And to level with somebody is to be honest, okay? To come clean, to confess. I'll level with you, mister. This is a crank call that sort of backfired, and I'd like to bail out. To bail out is abandonar. And I'd like to bail out right now. So here we go. This is the one and only Bart Simpson, played by birthday girl Nancy Cartwright.
Yes, I'm looking for a friend of mine. Last name Jas, first name Hugh.
Hold on, I'll check. Hugh Jas! Oh, somebody check the men's room for a Hugh Jas!
Look, I'll level with you, mister. This is a crank call that sort of backfired, and I'd like to bail out right now.
All right. There you go, my amigos. There you go. That is the Say What soundbite, and it's time for our final section. Name that lyric.
Hi, hello, Alberto. I think the song is... No? Sorry, bye.
Name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric only on the show with no name, the show with no name, the show with no name. Name that lyric only on the show with no name, the show with no name, the show with no name. It's name that lyric only on the show with no name.
That's right, amigos. It's Name That Lyric only on the show with no name, and we only have about a minute or so I'm going to give it to you. It's the Red Hot Chili Peppers, since it's Chad Smith's birthday. We're going to wrap up with, ¿ves? Ahí usamos el rap otra vez. We are going to wrap up with the one and only Red Hot Chili Peppers, and it was really difficult to choose a song because, well, they've got so many freaking good songs. But I decided to choose Tell Me Baby, What's the Story? Great song, and you can sing it along with me. It's Tell Me Baby by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And thank you so much to each and every one of you for being here and learning and laughing with us and having fun. Don't forget to stay tuned, because up next you've got the wonderful Ximena Holiday. And the song goes like this. They come from every state to find. Some dreams were meant to be declined. Rechazados. Tell the man, what did you have in mind? Dile lo que tenías en mente. What have you come to do? ¿Qué has venido a hacer? No turning water into wine. No puedes convertir agua en vino. No learning while you're in the line. No puedes aprender mientras esperas en cola. I'll take you to the broken sign. El letrero o la señal rota. So this is the Red Hot Chili Peppers and Tell Me Baby. Thank you so much to all of you who participated today and every day. We'll be back tomorrow with more. I promise. Bye-bye. Come on. Come from every state to find home.